Hi, this is Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and today we have Ted Maier with us. He is the head of the youth department at Avalon Artist Group. He is an amazing agent. You are going to love all the great information he's got for us. Ted, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to see you because this is the closest to seeing you that I've come in a long time, thanks to the world shutting down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're all stuck at home or not being able to go out so much. But thanks to technology and what used to be Skype is now Zoom, and
Right.
this has actually brought a lot of people a little bit closer than maybe normal. Maybe you guys would stop by the office for 5-10 minutes to say hi, which is this can never replace that because seeing people in person is the best thing, giving each other hugs or whatever. But right now it's all virtual. So, but glad to be here and glad to see you.
Well, I don't have a lot of people on my vlog talking about kids in the industry, and I really think it's important. I get questions probably. I would say half of the questions that I get are like, well, I have a kid, and what about this? And it's like, I really should address that more on my vlog. So, since you are an amazing agent, and you've got it, you're at Avalon Artist Group now, which is one of the leading agencies, but you've done some stuff. You've worked in the industry for a while. Tell us about why you decided to be an agent and how you got into it.
Whew, that's a loaded question. I'll try to keep the Cliff Notes answers. I've been in this business since 1993. So that's what, 27 years now. And I started out in production. I worked, behind the scenes in every aspect, whether it be post production, casting, on the set as a PA, running coffee and getting the actors, what have you, horror films
Mhm.
to reality shows, let's see, to big budget movies. And I even did a little acting. And I'm not an actor, but I was lucky enough to, um, you know, be bumped up from either an extra role or being a PA on set, and the director's like, "This scene isn't really working this way. We need to arrest him. Like, let's get some cops. Ted, take your headset off, put on the cop uniform, go arrest him, and say these lines." Blah blah blah. So I did a little bit of acting, and the one time I was on a big film, not box office big film, but big budget film. Uh, I was bumped up as an extra, and instead of getting a $50 check at the end of the day, I got a $600 check, and then they brought me back for several more days. I made several $1,000s, and I was like, oh,
Nice.
maybe I'll try this acting thing. And for about 6 months, I got a commercial agent who was a young agent at the time, Daniel Hoff Agency, DH Talent, sending me out on commercials. So I went to some of these audition places that I have my kids going to now, and so I've been in that chair or that waiting room, um, and so I know what it's like to be on that side of it, and it was very scary. So I, after 6 months, kind of stopped doing the acting. um, but no, I bounced around and worked my way up to being a production coordinator, um, and a couple of big films and some small stuff, and one of the biggest that actually the last film I worked on was a movie called Can't Hardly Wait. And, working 12, 14, 16, sometimes, believe it or not, 20-hour days when I was coordinating a movie in Vegas, like as a smaller crew. And, for 3 weeks straight, I was working 16 to 20-hour days. I was getting a little burnt out. And the last movie I worked on, Can't Hardly Wait, was a coming of age movie, about this high school graduation party and where everyone's going to go after high school, things like that. It was a fun experience. I enjoyed the actors. I dealt with the agents and managers on a daily basis, getting their sides, rescheduling the shoot scenes the next day. I had to be in touch with the agents and managers. It was at that point where I said to myself, I love being on sets, and I love working in production and being behind the scenes, and it's exciting and it's new and it's different every time you get a gig. But I was getting burnt out on 14, 16-hour days, and I kind of wanted a more normal 9 to 5 job lifestyle.
So you
So I can
got agent?
well, I thought it was going to be, at least it was, because a lot of the agents and managers I spoke to on the phone when I was working on that movie were pretty cool. Someone would come to set to visit their clients, and I was like, you know what? They're not here 14 hours a day. They get to come see the client for a couple hours and leave, and like go have a normal life and still be in the business. So that's when I decided, after that movie, I made a career change, and I went and got a job at LA Models and LA Talent as a agent's assistant in the commercial department. Learn from some great agents, that have their own agencies now. Nick Terzian runs NTA Talent, and Michelle Henderson HRI Talent. I was their assistant, and Ben Garcia, unfortunately, Ben passed away, but yeah, I was assistant to them, and we had great talent on our roster, became stars later on in life that I helped shape their careers. I feel like even then. So I went from there to being a theatrical agent at Allure Models and Talent, which is now the Sean Brogan agency. Went to Icon Talent for a couple of years, headed up their theatrical department, became a manager, was a manager from 2003 to 2010, and then went back to being an agent, working for the man at a place called Brass Artists, and then Maverick Artists. I've been at Maverick Artists for 8 years before I came over to Avalon now. So that's my little career run right there.
That's cool. And at Maverick, that's you worked with like a lot of sports stuff, right? You
Yeah,
kind of
I ran the sports division. So we had people like John Elway and Von Miller for football. We had Scottie Pippen basketball. We had but a lot of our working actors in the sports division weren't necessarily stars. They were just very athletic people. Guys who could slam dunk a basketball, guys who played basketball in college, some globetrotters, a lot of gymnasts from college, um, skateboarders, parkour, swimmers, divers, Olympians, X game athletes, and just the common, a little league team, a soccer team would book a commercial, so yeah, I ran the sports division and it made a lot of money because it booked a lot of commercial work. I could book, 6 girls on a soccer commercial for Nike, and
yeah.
it's national commercial, and it's like 6 national commercial bookings. Um, so yeah, it was pretty good. I also started the emerging talent division, where I took a lot of the actors from the sports division who couldn't get a theatrical agent, and I would get them started theatrically, and get them auditions for some film and TV shows, um, just for acting, not their sports. And then the last year I was there, it kind of took a heavy workload. The adult commercial agent had to leave, so I took over her job. So I was running 3 divisions,
Wow.
and it I kind of got away from doing what I really love, and my passion is discovering talent, and which is at the beginning of their career, and then getting them going. So no better place to get that started than when they're kids, right? In the past, I've had some success with kids and teens, getting them on series, booking them series before, when I was a manager of past agencies. So when the youth department at Avalon was looking for a new agent, I requested to come over and work there, and I enjoy working with kids, getting the career started. Um, Back when I was working, 20 years ago, I started this little girl at 10 years old, and she didn't book anything until she turned 11, and then she didn't get anything that was really on TV until she was 12. And at 13, she booked a series on Nickelodeon, was on that for 3 years, and then decided to go off, and when that show ended, to go off and do an album. She was a singer too, and she took a year off from acting and went and recorded an album and did an album. And I think that was around the time when I was leaving managing and decided to go back into acting. There's a kind of period there. So when she came back to doing acting, she's now at like 18, decided to go to, I actually got her with innovative artists. And then when she came back to acting, I went back to being an agent. So she was with innovative artists, so I couldn't. So we had to part ways, is what I'm trying to say. She went on to do all the Twilight movies, and then she got a role on The Secret Life of American Teenager. She's been on Walking Dead the last 5 years as a regular on that show, and now she's starring in the Netflix series Selena as
Oh,
Selena.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she just turned 30, and so it's just fun the last 20 years to see her go from a little
Watch.
10-year-old kid to now being, a kind of a star. And I just heard she just signed with CAA. So those are great stories, you know what I mean? And to be at the beginning of that story and that climb for a career, that's exactly why I do this, and I enjoy doing it.
I think I think what people don't always realize and understand is a kid is so, like, you can break or make a kid. Like, the experiences they have, they're either going to decide, hey, this is something I want to really do, or okay, back off. And you actually have a role in the encouragement, and just, hey, don't, this is a great audition, you did great. Just those little things, like, are night and day. I mean, teachers are a great example of that. But when you're an actor and you're a kid, like, this is a hard business for anyone, but this is, like, people, I don't think the average person thinks about what a child actor goes through. And yes, SAG has rules and there's protections in place, but we all know that these kids, like, they go through some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, kids in general have to go through a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was very shy. There was no way, I got stage fright. I couldn't get up on a stage and do anything in front of people. I even in college, like, I had a speech class, I had to get up in front and give a speech. I was horrified, and um, so I get it. I mean, as a kid, it's not an easy thing just to be a kid, and when you're a teenager, you go through a lot of changing and growing and emotions and learning experiences, and it's not easy for any kid. And then let alone in the entertainment business, it's like 100 times harder because it's so competitive and there's so much rejection. And and it's, even though it's a business, the business is people, you know what I mean? It's people's acting ability. And it's hard because, you know, even though you try not to take it personal, it's kind of hard not to, and it's putting yourself out there for someone to ridicule or pick or choose is not an easy thing to do. And that's why you really, as a kid, it's something you really got to want to do. Otherwise, you're going to learn like, maybe this is not what I want to do, because it's really hard and difficult. So, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, and so that's why it's like I got to be encouraging if there's something I want to do, and but also too, it's like you said, it's like being a teacher or a coach. Um, you got to you you don't want to sugarcoat things too much either. You don't want to give someone a false sense of belief, because then they'll get hit really hard when they hit the real world, or they get out there and they don't understand what life's really about. So it's that fine line and balance of encouraging people, keep staying positive, but at the same time also being real. And it's such a it's a hard business.
So, what are your expectations of a kid actor? I mean, obviously they don't have the training and the experience. So, what is it that you look for when you're interviewing a kid? They're like, "Hey, we want you to represent us." What what are you looking for? Like, what is it that catches your attention?
Well, obviously the number one thing is talent. It's amazing how um, some people are just born with it, and you can't explain it. You know what I mean? It's just they have the voice to sing, or they could learn a dance move in 2 seconds, whereas most normal people would like, huh, try that again 30 times before they get it. A lot of kids are just have that natural talent where you see an 8-year old. being able to get up in front of a class or a stage and speak to the masses or speak to an adult like they were 40 years old. And you know, and you're like, how can you do that? You're 8 years old. There's it's amazing how, you know, some people are just born with it, you know, and it's a kind of a gift. You know, everyone's born with something, and I feel like some kids are born with natural talent. So that is something that we don't really have to look for. It just comes out, you know, when you see someone performing or whatever. Now, if I go to a showcase and there's, you know, 100 kids performing, yeah, those natural ones will really pop out at you. You know, there could be one or two that really pop out, but there could be 20 or 30 other ones that are really great, you know, that maybe don't have that natural ability. But what the next thing I'm looking for is confidence, confidence in wanting to do this, confidence that I'm willing to put myself out there. You know, even though I don't, maybe I wasn't born with it, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to do what it takes to make it, type of thing. And having that confidence is half the battle. You know, and that's the thing is like I didn't make it as an actor, and you know I didn't really try because I didn't have the confidence in it. You know, I felt like, you know, if I'm acting for my friends and I'm relaxed, you know, and I don't have a script, I'm just improvising, I could pull off. I fake people out all the time, you know, that kind of acting. But
Right.
I have a script and a character to uphold, and these lines I have to memorize. Oh, I couldn't do it. It's hard. You have to be confident in your own self to even do this. So when I go to a showcase, I see 100 kids. You know, I say, okay, these one or two could be stars. I'm giving them callbacks, but then I might give 28 other ones callbacks too because I see the potential. Like, oh, they're up, they're not afraid, they're up there, they're doing their thing. You know, they just need to be polished a little bit, need to be fine tuned. So I call them back, and when I interview them, I'm looking for confidence. And that's something you want to do. This is something you really believe in that you want to do. This is not something, oh, your friends push you into doing, or your parents are pushing you into doing, or like, you know, and some kids don't know. You know what I mean? I get it. They're like, I want to try this. I love it. I would love to be on TV. I love to be acting. And then they go and try it and they realize, oh, this is harder than I thought. You know, so you know, maybe they change their mind. Maybe they get into singing or dancing, or they're into sports or whatever. You know, but yeah, it's the thing I'm looking for is obviously natural talent and ability, which only a few people are born with. Um, and then the confidence. Do they have the confidence to do this? And if they do, then and if this is something they want to do, then they could kind of be molded. They could be developed. They
Mhm.
could, you know, they're going to want to do acting classes. They're going to want to learn and get better. They're going to want to wonder why, like, how come I can't do it like that? I got to learn to be better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, yeah, the passion and the confidence is, if, you know, hopefully it goes along with their talent. But if they don't have the talent necessarily, if they have the potential to be good, they got to have that confidence and passion behind it in order to get there.
That's and the other thing that I wanted to point out that you said early on, you said it a couple of times, like when you knew you wanted to be in the industry, but you tried a few different things, and there are so many working parts to making a production, to making a project happen. There's so many working parts,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of people, oh, I want to be an actor, and then it doesn't work out for them. They can't find representation. They get training that just doesn't ever jive with them. But I always say, go try something, like go work, go work in other areas, because you may be really awesome at another area, or being in that other area may make a relationship that opens the door for you to act. But there's just so many things to do. Don't put yourself in a box. Go live your life and learn new stuff and do new stuff. And I like that you're like, I tried this and I did this and now I'm here and I'm this awesome agent. And now I'm like like
Yeah, I know. I totally 100% agree with that. That you will be a better actor if you kind of know what's going on behind the
absolutely.
scenes, you know, and I feel like that made me a better agent because, you know, through the years I've worked at other, you know, at other agencies around other agents who kind of didn't get it. Like they didn't understand what goes, like they don't even know what it's like to be an actor. You know, and I went to auditions for 6 months. I know what it's like to be in waiting rooms and get called in and go back out and come back in again and things like that. And but I also was a production coordinator. I was on the phone with agents and managers. So now I'm on the other side of the phone, and when I'm on the phone with a producer or a production coordinator, um, and they say like, "Hey, listen, we have to rearrange our schedule because the location we're supposed to shoot at Friday burnt down. We have to find a new location.
Yeah.
So we're gonna rearrange this, da, da, da. So we're sorry we can't shoot your actor that day. We're gonna have to shoot him another day. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll pay them for that day, but we're gonna, and I've seen agents, get in an uproar. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like, because they don't understand what it's like to be on the other side of the phone. And I do, because I've been there. And so I think it makes for a better agent to understand where the producers are coming from, production's coming from, and then that makes them want to work with you more. Hey, you know what, this guy gets it. Let's hire his talent more often. Let's deal with him more. And that when there's a callback and they go, hey, look, it's one of Ted's clients and it's one of so and so clients. Like, oh, well,
Right.
let's hire Ted's client because, like, if something happens, we know that he'll make it work for us. He'll make the adjustments and make it work for us. This other agent, it's his way or the highway. We have his client on set and something goes wrong, we're going to be screwed. So yeah, just building those relationships and networking. When I went to college, I did go to college to work behind the scenes in the entertainment business, but it was just the work behind the scenes, not anything particular. There's no degree to be an agent. You don't go to, and a lot of the things, there's no casting director degree. You don't go to, I'm going to go to UCLA to be a casting director. No, there's no degree for that. Same with agents and managers. Yeah, there's a lot of agents that get a law degree, become entertainment lawyers or work for one of those big top 5 agencies. It helps to have that law degree, but you don't need a law degree to work as an agent. You just got to know the business and get some experience working as an assistant and behind the scenes. The more you know what's going on with grip and electric and hair and makeup and wardrobe and the travel, the transpo guys and the production crew, the PAs and the second AD and the first AD and the directors, and everything that's going on in the production. It makes you a better uh, um, actor in the business, because if you're not getting an acting gig, go do some extra work. Now, I hated extra work, but it's great learning experience, because if you go on a big set and you see how all the pieces work together, and that you see that an actor is really just a piece. Yeah, it's the big piece. It's that scene,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a piece. There's stand-ins, there's rehearsals and blocking. You see why it takes an hour and a half to set up the scene, because the lighting has to be just right, and there's mirrors there. You can't reflect off the mirror. It's really educational to be on set and learning these things. Even if you're not an actor, you can learn a lot from it. And then people that are casting directors and agents and working in production maybe move to LA to be an actor, and it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? You have to understand that, like, there's 10 million people in LA, and I'd say 5 million of them are actors or wanted to be actors or tried acting and went out and did other things. And maybe they go work at Warner Brothers and for a couple years and learn, like, oh, these are the kind of actors they're hiring, and now I see why they choose these actors. Now you go back into acting and you get it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So that
exactly.
you gear yourself towards. So it's great to be behind the curtain. You want to see what goes on behind this. If you're an actor and you never seen behind the curtain, you're going in and you're just doing what you're told to do, and you're like, how come I'm not getting the roles and other people are? Well, go work at a casting office, be an assistant, be an intern. um, you'll get to see the process and see how they choose the actors they choose, or why they choose the actors they choose. So now as an actor, oh, I got to do that and this and that, and sometimes it has nothing to do with your acting. It has to do with, your presentation. It has to do with your social media, how you present yourself. It has to do with your networking. It has to do with who you voted for, who you didn't vote for. I don't know, but like there's a lot of things that go into
Yeah.
um, the process, that it's not just acting. So
Exactly. And the more you know, the more you know, the more you know, the more you understand, the more the lights flash on. I'm a headshot photographer. I am not an actor, but doing these vlogs help me because it makes me understand how the industry works and what actors need. It also helps my home life because I understand what's going on with what do you mean? You said you were booked that day. What are you talking about?
yeah,
So, just understanding how the whole industry works is there. It's never going to go bad. Like you're never going to regret doing more and learning more. You may say, wow, I don't ever want to do that again. I mean, I've DP'd on a whole bunch of small projects, SAG low budgets and, different independent projects. And a while back during the pandemic, right when things started opening up, Merrick was like, "Hey, do you want to go be an extra on this network television just so you can see a network set?" And I was like, "Sure. Like, what else are we doing?" And it
yeah,
was really interesting to watch a network production, and see all that happen. And we clearly didn't go for the food or the, you know, but just the experience and just going just to see because I'd never been on a network set before. I'd been on several independent things, but it was fun. And I knew that I didn't ever want to be an actor, which I've known for a long time because this setting around for like 8 hours, it's like I like being busy. I like having the camera and I'll complain about being tired and on my feet all day long before I want to complain about setting and waiting.
yeah. No, I
It's a whole
agree.
different it's a whole different thing. But
Definitely.
it's fun to know and it's good to know because then you know what direction to go. And so let's get back to kids. What about parents? I know you have funny parent stories. So
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I enjoy representing kids because um, and I've repped adults for a long time. I've repped kids and adults my whole career. And the reason I came to Avalon to head the youth department was I wanted to strictly just get back to working with kids and teens and some young adults that still play high school roles type of thing. Um, because a lot of the adults I worked with, that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, I felt a lot of pressure of their acting career in my hands, which is fine, but a lot of times I try to tell them to do the things they need to do to succeed, and they wouldn't do it. And then they turn around and it's my fault, blame me type of thing. Or things don't go their way, it's like they're miserable, and it's like they turn on me, like it's the agent's fault. Well, you just didn't book it, that's just what happens. But yeah, with kids, they're a little bit more innocent, correct? Right? Their innocence is bliss, and to them, it's like they're still, if it's not COVID, they're still in school, going to school, they're still learning, they're still loving everything, any opportunity they get to play or go do things, whether it's an audition or a shoot or just watching, cartoons and TV shows and things like that, and as they grow. So representing kids is I love it because if they don't get the part, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm going back to school. I'm doing this. I'll wait till the next one. They have stuff going on. They have their dance class, their singing class, their soccer practice, their football practice, or whatever the case may be, because they still have their lives as being a kid. This is not their career necessarily, unless they book a series. But so for me, it's like a little bit lot less pressure on me. It's like, uh, I get them out there auditioning, and it happens. It happens. If it doesn't, they keep going about their lives. Whereas with adults, it was like, if I don't get this, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? And it was a lot more pressure. So working with kids is great. Now the downside to it is the parents, right? Um, there were a lot of parents that were actors when they were younger and they didn't make it, and they're like, oh, and you know what? Maybe my kid will make it. Let me push my kid into doing this. So uh, I try not to to represent kids that don't want to do it. Obviously, I mean, I want kids who want to do it on their own merit. I don't want them to be pushed to do it. And I get it. Like parents, all parents want their kids to succeed and be happy. Um, you know what I mean? They want their kids to get straight A's. They want their kids to score the winning goal in the game, and they want their kids to, if they want to act, to book the roles. So it's great to be supportive parents. I want supportive parents because I can't depend on an 8-year-old to check their emails and do the self tape and send it to me, or drive to the studio and do the audition, or you know what I mean? Because the parent has to do it for them. And so it becomes a team effort. And I do represent the kid. I bring on kids that I like and I want to represent. But eventually, unless the kid's 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, I'm really working with the parents because it's the parents that I depend on. And, a good example is I took on this girl like, I don't know, 2 months ago, and she's already missed 2 auditions because the parent isn't paying attention. You know what I mean? So,
And that's crucial for any age
yeah,
actor.
no,
If you get an audition.
It's sad because, like, and especially during this time with the COVID, um, it's we're not in our office. Obviously, like, I'm working from home, and I don't have all the tools. I don't have a phone with 12 different lines I could get on the phone. So a lot of it we're doing from home is through the internet, it's through emails, it's through, which is fine. It's great. It's quick, fast. I'm more efficient that way. I could get, 10 emails out in 5 minutes, whereas I had to pick up the phone and call those 10 people. I'm talking to on the phone with them, or right. I have to leave them a message, and then they call back and leave me a message, and then we're playing phone tag, and by the time I get it could take an hour, 10 hours to finally get that audition to them. You know what I mean? So working from home, it's quick turnaround. Email, you got to check your emails, you got to be responsible, because if you're not, your kids are gonna lose out. So but as far as working with parents, it's really crucial that if I'm going to represent your kid and say they're under the age of 16, under the age of 18, they don't have their own email address. I'm emailing with the parents. I'm sending stuff that's and majority of the time I'm not sending you an email to send you a joke or say, hey, check out this meme I saw. No, this is going to be serious. It's an audition, or it's something urgent, or it's something I need information to help better give your kid a chance at an audition, or book a job, or put on a veil, or something like that. So it's important, to have that notification on, ding, 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 when your agent emails you or calls or sends you a C-mail or sends you an LA casting, a notification, that you open it and respond right away. Because that's all I'm doing all day is trying to get kids auditions, and the parents have to be supportive, have to be on top of it. Otherwise, it's not fair to the kid. The kid wants to do it and the parents dropping the ball. So yeah, with that girl, she's missed 2 auditions because the parents dropped the ball. On the flip side, I don't want parents
I know what you're going to say.
being overbearing. You know what I mean? And just remember, it's it's I'm all day. I'm looking for roles for your kids. I'm trying to get them auditions. I don't decide on who gets auditions. I'm not the casting director. Because if it was up to me, your kid would be auditioning for everything I see right for.
Exactly.
It's there could be a role on This Is Us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they want a 15-year-old girl, blah 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 blah. This is great for my girl Sammy. I'm gonna submit her. There's 3 other girls that fit the part. Okay, I'm gonna submit all 4 girls, and I'm like, but Sammy's perfect for this. But these other 3 girls could do it too. They're good actors. They fit the description. I submit all 4 of them. Casting directors, here are my 4 submissions, and because I'm not just going to submit one person if 4 people fit it, because that's not fair to those other 3 if I just submit one. Because what if they say no, not to that one, and the 4th person could have got it, right? So I submit all 4 people, and casting director calls my 3rd choice. What about my 1st and 2nd choice? No, we want to see our 3rd choice. Maybe because they know something more than I do, because maybe that character they're skewing Hispanic. You know what I mean? and maybe my number one choice, Sammy, is white and would be perfect for the role, but I don't know that, you know what, this family actually we're casting is probably going to be Hispanic, or the writers are skewing. They may not say it in the breakdown, but they want Hispanic. So there's certain things I don't know, you know what I mean? But that's why the cast directors got their job. That's their job to know and to cast what's right for the role. So I submit 4 people, the one gets the audition, and then maybe a parent, finds out about it. How come my girl didn't get the audition? She's perfect for it. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And it's like, don't yell at me. I'm on your side. I'm on your team. Like, I want your girl to get the audition too, but it's not up to me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's up to me to present your daughter or your son for this audition, but it's ultimately not my job to audition them. You know what I mean? It's the casting director's job. That's why the producers hire the casting director. Otherwise, I'd have all my girls auditioning for all roles every time. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
so I do have some parents that kind of like are a little unrealistic in that area, because they just don't know. They don't understand that side of the business. And if any of them are watching this right now, I hope they learn and understand that, hey, you know, there's everyone has a job to do, and through that whole process, we're all trying to get. That's why I rep your kid. I want them to get as many auditions as possible. I'm not saying no to auditions. You know what I mean? But it's not my job to get them the auditions. It's my job to get them the opportunity for those auditions, and then it's not my say. Now, say my girl who got the audition, is sick and can't do it or something like that. I might reach out to the cat. Hey, you know what? The girl you wanted to see is not available, or she's not available for the shoot because she booked something else. Can you see so and so, so and so, and so and so instead, and in replace of her? Then I could do that. Try to do that. I always try to do that. Or I may, if I have a good relationship with that casting director, say, hey, she's confirmed. Thank you for bringing her in. But you know what? Why aren't you seeing this girl? I think she's perfect for this. And then, you know what I mean? If you're going to see this girl, you should definitely see this girl too, because she could really play this role. And nothing against my other girl. I'm glad she got the audition too, but like, you're missing out on this one. And then that's at that point they say, okay, yeah, let's have her audition also. Or they may say, Ted, thank you, but you
Stay
don't
in your lane,
understand.
Ted.
You don't understand. We need to see that girl because of this or that, or because they're skewing more Hispanic or more ethnic, or they don't want a blonde for this role. They want a brunette. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And they'll tell me at that point. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just that's the process. And when I rep these kids, I feel like I rep them, but I have to work with the parents, and the parents have to work with me. And I don't know if you're trying to allude to, do I have any stories of parents that drive me crazy? Yes, I do.
I was for 28 years, I was a high-end portrait photographer, and I primarily did kids. So I had to deal with parents. So I knew exactly, I know there's parents that think, what's wrong with you? My kid should be a star. What's wrong with you, Ted? What's wrong with you, Ted?
Yeah.
And the thing that it blows my mind, not just kids and parents, but it blows my mind how many adult actors don't really understand how the process works. They think their agent gets them an audition. If the agent's doing the job, they're going to get me an audition. And if the casting director likes me, I'm getting booked. And that's just not how it works. Your
No,
job
no.
is to present great actors to the casting director. The casting director's job is to wean that down and then present those to the producers or directors, whoever's making the actual decision. And parents, I know parents, so I know they can get well, why? Well, just forget it. Or, well, you know what? Today isn't good. You need to have this tomorrow. Well, no, today's when the audition is. Well, it's not going to work for me. So tell them we'll be there tomorrow. No, that's not how it works. And I think, on the opposite flip side of that, parents that have working kids, I mean, that's a job in itself. That is a dedication. And I tease Sam all the time. I'm like, if you book a series regular, you're hiring yourself a set nanny because I am not doing it. It's like it's not happening. So,
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
definitely
work.
a full commitment from the parents too. And that's why I like, if I go to showcases and I find great kids, that's why we have callbacks. It's like, hey, you know what, your kid's great. Like I could represent him and I could get him auditions and I think they could do well. But are you as a parent supportive? Are you going to
Mhm.
be taking them to the auditions? Are you going to be able to, I'll ask them like, do you have flexible schedules? Like, well, I work full time. I work full time. Like, well, who's going to take them to the auditions? If they book it, who's going to, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Like, no, I mean, because it's a commitment, you know what I mean? And that's why I have to take kids whose parents um, may have, one full-time job and the other one's working from home or has a flexible schedule or has a full-time nanny at home that could take them to places and things like that. So yeah, it's there's a lot of work that goes behind it. And um, to your point, as far as parents not understanding, I mean, it's we're all professionals behind the scenes and we know what we're doing. So let us do our job. You know what I mean? So it's like, and to your business, I mean, we just described the process, right? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If it were up to me, I see a role on the show, I'm like, oh, I have four girls perfect for that. If it was, if I said, hey guys, I have four girls, they're all going to audition for you. Okay. No, because like every agent's going to do that. And they're going to get 7,000 auditions when they need to figure it out in 2 days who they're going to cast. They got to narrow it down to a certain amount. And um, it's like, well, why isn't she getting auditions when I have two other girls like them getting auditions? Well, because they have better headshots. Well, they should just get auditions. She's a good actress. Like, well, it doesn't matter how good of an actress she is. If she doesn't have good pictures, they're not going to get the casting director's attention. You know what I mean? And I don't have the time and energy that every day to go, oh, I submitted her on this role. Her pictures suck, but you got to see her because blah, blah, blah. No, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
It's, there's 100 jobs every day I'm going through. And those jobs have, 5 to 20 roles. So do the math. Like I'm spending all day doing that. And, and then, I'm trying to I represent a bunch of kids. I got to make sure they're all submitted on a timely manner because I can't sit there and waste time. If I let a job go by 2 hours and then I go on and submit on it, it's too late because they've already got, 50 other agents who submitted their kids and they're getting auditions before I even submitted. So time is the essence. Pictures are really important. Headshots are so important
I
to get
mean,
auditions.
a casting director gets thousands of submissions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why headshots are important because they're going through thumbnails and they have to look at that headshot and say, oh, that's the character I'm looking for. Let me see what their resume looks like. Let me see what their reel looks like. And then, oh, okay, well, maybe not. That's next, but that headshot has to at least get them to open that up. And since you brought up headshots, I'm just going to put in a little more. I always tell my clients if you like, I send my clients a questionnaire before we have a headshot session. And if they have representation, I'm like, you need to talk to your representation and find out what they're looking for because you are the one that's submitting all day every single day. You're like, man, this actor would be perfect for this role, but they don't have a headshot that matches. And it's like you probably 20 times a week are like, man, I wish I could submit this actor, but they don't have anything. The casting director is not going to know. I don't have anything to tell the casting director. So if they have representation, they need to talk to their representation and believe them. And this is what I do for a living. And I can guarantee you that not one headshot that I've taken of Sam or Merrick are the headshots that I would have picked, what you guys picked. Never.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
like them. Like,
You
and I
bring
do
up,
this for a living. But you know what? We trust you. And then I throw in a few extra, the ones I like.
no, and
In case
no,
you
it's
need them.
fine. I mean, you bring up a really good point, and the way I could describe it is because I'm seeing these jobs, I see other actors who are getting the auditions. I see what pictures are getting them the auditions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and also too, it's like, some kids, and especially girls, want to look super pretty and look their best, and they're, and I get it. Like, you want to pick a headshot that, like, oh my God, look how phenomenal you look. Well, that's a great headshot, to send to your grandparents, or to blow up and put in, in your kitchen, or whatever the case may be, or send to your boyfriend, like, look at my new headshot. Eee. Okay, great. That's great. I call that the hero headshot. You want to have a headshot that you're going to put up in the theater marquee, in the lobby, to go, starring these are the people, and here's your headshots, right? You want that cool headshot, that beautiful headshot. But for agents, we're trying to get you auditions for roles, and not every role is the beautiful, leading lady, you know what I mean, or like the studly man. Like, a lot of these roles are gritty, like the bad
Mhm.
guy, or the cop, or the nerd, or or the shrewd businessman, or the tough lawyer, or the detective, or whatever, that you need pictures that show that you could be these roles. And and especially with, like, women, like, they have their hair all perfect and beautiful, and the makeup perfect and done, and it's like, yeah, that's gorgeous for your leading woman shot, and we need that. But if that's all you got, like, I'm like, oh my God, this here's a great role for her, to play the trailer trash woman
Exactly.
who,
Put your hair in a ponytail.
yeah,
Let it happen.
and that's the thing, is like, we need shots like that, yeah, maybe you don't put this on your dating site, you know what I mean, but we need it to get you those auditions for those type of roles. And a lot of those roles aren't glamorous. A lot of those roles are really gritty, or charactery, or specific, and the pictures, have to show that. Now, you don't need to overdo it, though. Like, I always say, like, you don't want to look like you're dressing up for Halloween. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not submitting you in a Spider-Man costume for the Spider-Man role. I mean, you just got to feel the part. The cops and detectives. You don't need the full-on cop uniform, but
A,
you
a
do
lot of it
need
is
to
the
look it.
energy and the mindset.
Yeah,
You want that all to match. If it's a serious role, you don't want the glamour and the you know
yeah,
you want you need the emotions and everything to match.
yeah,
um and that's the thing that it's the pretty pictures are great for grandma's wall, but let's get some effective headshots that are going to get you working.
that's
And
precisely it.
when your agent tells you that, you got to listen. You've got to. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that agents come in. Okay, they come in. All right, my agent wants to do this look. Really.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, what does that look mean to you? Like, let's really break this down. Okay, so we get that. We send the proofs off, and I don't, some agents look at everything. Some agents are like, pick the best 50 or whatever. But we get that off to the agent, and the agent, sure enough, yep, I love that, do that. And the parents are like, or the client are like, no, I know they want that, but I think this one would be better. And it was like, so you just paid me a lot of money. You just took all of your agent's time to talk to them twice to discuss headshots. They told you what would be effective for you, and you still decided to pick the other one. And then you're going to blame, well, these headshots that Peggy took just didn't get me any work. And my agent just isn't submitting me like he should. And you're like, what do you do?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a total process that everyone has to be on the same page for it to work and for it to click. And it's, yeah, like it starts at the headshot process. I find kids at showcases, from Indiana, in the middle of Oklahoma, wherever, like, they're great, talented kids, but they have these, like, pictures that they took, at
That's serious.
school or at Sears, right, at the mall. Um, that, yeah, it shows what they look like, but they don't show any, character. They don't show any personality. They don't show what roles they could possibly play. And that's okay. I have a picture of them to, like, use to show what they look like, but I need new pictures. And a lot of times, until they get those pictures, they're not going to get really any auditions, because the casting directors don't know him. And then they look at their pictures like, what is this kid doing? Like, is he serious? Like, where did Ted find this kid, at the mall? Like, they're
Yeah.
not really going to take a chance until they start seeing professional pictures, that, okay, this person's, invested in doing this. So they're serious. They got pictures that are professional. They got pictures that show that they could be, all these different types of roles and characters, and that, I that makes them click on those pictures as check them out. Like you said, it's the first audition is the picture. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, not that you're on a dating app, but like if you're on a dating app and you're sitting there, oh, look at her, oh, she's cute. Do I swipe right? No, I'm gonna go, let me see what other pictures she has. Let me really get a better, but that first picture is important, right? That first
Yeah.
picture, if it's horrible, and I've seen it happen. I'm like, oh, she's all right. Let's see what else she's got. I'm like, oh, she's gorgeous. Like, look at all these other pictures. Like, she should have used something else as her first picture. But I might see a picture on someone like, nope, pass. And it could have been a gorgeous person, or it could have been a great person, but the picture was horrible. I'm just gonna pass. So there's been times where I'm like, okay, oh, or it could work this way too. Amazing picture. Oh, I got to see who this person is. It made me stop to look. I stopped and look, and I'll go through the other pictures, and I'm like, no, But that first picture got me to stop and look, and got me to not swipe left, but let me go look.
And that's literally what a headshot's job is to get the casting director to stop and look. Hey, this could be my police officer. Let me stop and look. Oh, this could be the, the lead for this movie. Let me stop and look. And then, that's the job.
Exactly. I had a kid that's got put on a veil today. And I had several kids audition for it, and it's, the characters, well, first of all, I submitted probably 6 or 7 kids for it. Okay. The kid is supposed to be from the hood. All right. And so I picked 6 actors who could play it, who could probably play that role, who's the kid from the hood, and 2 guys got auditions. Okay. Of the 2 who got auditions, they have pictures that look like they're from the hood. You know what I mean? Right. And so they got that feel to it. And then, and then they both auditioned, and one guy got put on a veil because he actually lives in the hood. So he's good at doing that. But the other 4 guys, the other 4 actors could have done the role too. It's not like they couldn't do the role. They didn't even get the chance to, because they don't have pictures that look like, hey, this kid's from the hood. You know what I mean? It was too much, which is fine too, but it was too much polo shirt, smile, goody two shoe guy. You know what I mean? So it's all encompassing. The pictures gotta jump out at you, like, this kid's from the hood, or this kid's from from Beverly Hills. This kid's a rich to do nothing type of thing. This kid's, from the ghetto. This kid's from the trailer trash, or whatever. You got to have pictures that show that you can play those kind of roles, to get the casting director to stop and look. Okay, bring these 2 in. The other 4 kids didn't get the opportunity because they don't have the picture for that. And it's not that because they can't do those roles, they just didn't have the picture. So right. It all starts with the picture to get that ball rolling.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing how powerful the headshot is. I mean, it's your first introduction. It's the eye catcher. So, and it's important that you talk to your agent and your representation, because they what's going on. You see what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, there's times where I'll look at someone's proof sheets, and and I'll pick out some great glamorous shots and some pretty shots and some good commercial shots, but then I pick out some strange ones, some weird ones, some ones that look, they're really mean or pissed, and I'm like, why did you pick this one? I'm like, you look like a mean girl. And sometimes there are roles that they want the mean girl, and like, if everything's so cute and cheery, like, they're not gonna buy it. And I need to see some meanness. I need to see some toughness. I need to see some silliness, some goofiness, some and sometimes you're too pretty for some roles. So I need some pictures that I pick out there, like, what? Ooh, why'd you pick this one? I don't look cute in it. Exactly. That's why I picked it. Because I need some, if you want to audition for a lot more roles, you can't be cute and everything. You know what I mean?
I have a young client that works all the time. I mean, she was in American Horror Story. She was in, just, and her headshots are always, and she's beautiful. She's the
Mhm.
cutest thing ever, but her hair is always like, and I love working with them because, the dad understands the industry and he's been part of the industry and he's like, no, she can play that. So, rough her up a little bit,
Yeah.
and kind of give that character, let that character come to life. And it's fun. It's fun to see that when when parents are willing to listen to the advice and go for it. It's fun, and it's fun to see your clients working. So I know for you this got to be just the coolest feeling, because I love it when I see my clients on TV. I'm like, I did their headshots.
Yeah.
And
You were
so, I
part of
mean,
that
for you to
process.
be like, I submitted them for that, like I got them that audition, it's got to be just,
Yeah, that's what's exciting about being in this part of this side of the business is,
yeah,
and that was something I really enjoyed. I working on the sets. Came to realize like what I liked the most were the actors, and dealing with them. And that last movie I worked on, Can't Hardly Wait, most of the cast were high school or, you know, 18 to play younger type of thing. And they always come to my desk and we have a good conversation. Or I go to them and go, here your size change for tomorrow. Learn these tonight instead. And,
yeah,
and I talk to your agent over the phone, this and that. And I realize, that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of the puzzle of this whole process. And, yeah, and that's what's fun about it is like seeing these roles that they're casting and going, oh my gosh, Sam would be perfect for this. I'm gonna pitch her, submit her, and then she gets the audition. And it's like, yeah, then then hopefully it brings it home. You know what I mean? And once you see them up on TV or in the movie, it's this, it makes it all worthwhile.
exactly. That's awesome. So what, I mean, I know I totally have gone over the time I told you it would take, but we've had fun. So what do you want to say that I haven't asked? What would you love, like if you have an audience of kids and parents, what do you want to say?
I mean, we kind of hammered a lot of it, but
I think we
just basically have fun, enjoy this business. If you're a parent, be supportive of your kids, but don't be too hard on them and don't be too pushy. If it's meant to be, it'll be. But be very supportive of them. They need your help in order to succeed. Also, kids, yeah, just have fun. This is a fun business. We used to always say when I was an assistant as an agent, like we're not curing cancer, we're not curing COVID. We're bringing entertainment to the world. We're having fun doing it. It's a fun business. Keep it fun. It could be stressful at times, but it's at the end of the day, no one's perishing or dying from it. So like let's have fun and keep that in mind and just enjoy it. And I'm a professional, you're a professional, we're all professionals here. We know what we're doing. Let us do our jobs. Don't try to tell us how to do our jobs. And just all be supportive and just be on the same page and communicate. Communication's key. If you don't understand anything, it's okay to ask. Also too, I guess one last thing I would say is, you know we have our professional guidelines on our websites and our emails and to communicate with us, pretty much that way. You don't need to call and text me out of the blue for no reason. We have everyone has social media. It's fine to like, maybe reach out on there, but don't keep, hammering away at me like, hey, I've emailed you 3 times. Now I'm going to hit you up here on Facebook and then on Instagram and blah, 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 and ask you 7,000 questions and, stop what you're doing. It's we're all people, we're all human beings, we have lives too. And I like to have my weekends and I like to have my time watching sports and being away from the business sometimes too. Even though I'm working 24/7 nowadays, especially from home, it's like I'm working sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night, or as soon as I wake up at 7 in the morning. But I actually haven't even eaten lunch yet today because I've been working nonstop. So just let us be human beings too, and enjoy the process. And don't be afraid to ask questions, but don't be too pushy. I guess that's what I have to say.
Well, I know everybody's going to appreciate this. I really do appreciate you coming on. And in the link below, I'm going to put your, is it fine if people reach out and follow you on social media? Just don't
Sure.
bug
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Don't like annoy him. And if you do decide to annoy him, don't tell him that you met him through this vlog. Just let him think you met him somewhere else. Don't blame me. But yes, I'm going to put all your information in the description below. And I really appreciate your time with us, Ted. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that, oh, I wanted to say one more thing. I almost forgot. You said we're not curing cancer. However, laughter is medicine. And I don't know about you, but the last 9 months, I have been so thankful to have a TV and entertainment to watch. So in a way,
we are essential. That's why we're still working right now, because
exactly.
you're right. It is essential that that we keep going, and the show never ends. It must go on, and we are, especially now with people locked at home, we need to put up things to keep our minds off of some of the bad things going on in the world, and keep a smile on our face. So yeah,
Right.
we do that. You're right.
Well, thank you again. And again, everything's in the description below. And thanks so much for watching. Make sure you share this with everyone you know, like it. And most importantly, have an amazing week. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. That was fun.